All right, is anybody still following the story of that toxic train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio? Well, News Nation is, and we're not about to let the concerns of the town's residents become a casualty of the world's very, very short attention span. Quite the opposite. Tonight, we're bringing you a News Nation exclusive that could blow the lid off an alleged cover-up. You'll remember the disaster in February of 2023. It forced hundreds of residents from their homes and sent a plume of carcinogenic smoke up high into the air. Well, this week, the town will be in the headlines once again when a judge holds a hearing Wednesday to consider a $600 million settlement between Norfolk Southern and the plaintiffs affected by the derailment. Tonight, a whistleblower is speaking out, saying he was silenced and his research was buried when the attorneys for that class action suit announced the settlement. Well, now he's speaking out against the settlement and what he calls a PR effort to play down the environmental and health concerns that he flagged. Joining us now is News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh. Rich, this whistleblower is making some very serious allegations.
Yeah, and at great risk to his career and to his reputation, Elizabeth. He's also lobbing allegations, serious allegations against the EPA, saying they're misleading the public, telling everybody East Palestine is safe. Take a look.
My observation is that basically the parties involved want it to go away.
Go away.
Yes. We have enough information to suggest that we really ought to try to figure this out and see if everything's okay or not. And I don't think we've done that yet.
Days after officials in East Palestine burned 5 tankers, 116,000 gallons of vinyl chloride over East Palestine.
You ready? I'm ready. Let's get out of here.
Stephen Petty was hired by class action attorneys to test for environmental contamination.
Do you think they're getting the truth here?
I think that they're being told too many positive things given the uncertainties.
One of the preeminent exposure experts in the world, Petty is now the main expert witness in the pending $600 million class action settlement.
So my job initially was to figure out, was there contamination of the environment, and if so, to what extent?
Residents have complained of rashes, respiratory issues, and more. 18 months later, none of Petty's data has been made public or available to the residents of East Palestine.
You are not able to disclose your testing, your results, your analysis. Is that accurate?
That's right. I'm under a confidentiality and in terms of really what I know about what I did or what I evaluated.
This is a risk for you, speaking out.
Oh, yeah, of course.
In an affidavit submitted to the court today, Petty says he is speaking out in support of Scott Smith, another scientist who has been testing in East Palestine. A decade earlier, the EPA coordinator in East Palestine had only praised for Smith's work in Flint, Michigan.
He seems qualified to collect samples and collect and share data.
But now, after 25 visits to East Palestine, Smith has found elevated levels of dioxins. Vinyl chloride is highly toxic and can cause cancer in humans, and has sounded the alarm for residents, going against the EPA narrative. And now the EPA has tried to label Smith as a fake scientist.
Mr. Smith's work is being impugned to the extent that I think is not fair and not correct. I don't think that the information that should get out there is getting out there.
It's also this video of a local toxicologist that plaintiffs' attorneys brought in to make their case for settlement that led Petty to break his silence.
There will not be any long-term health impact of chemical exposure from the derailment to community members of East Palestine.
I realized right away that this was a PR sort of event, but the fact that he was talking about, well, I wouldn't expect to see anybody have any health effects.
Petty argues it's too early to declare no long-term health impacts, as Dr. Arch Carson claims.
What troubled me was that if he's going to make those statements, then bring the receipts on the exposure analysis and show me the exposure analysis that says we have no issues. That's not his expertise. He's a toxicologist.
Petty also blasts the EPA in their handling of every aspect from the start, including when they told people all clear and they could come back after 3 days.
So you believe the EPA has obfuscated data or the facts in certain cases related to East Palestine?
I do. They're not being fully transparent with what the raw data likely says.
Do you think that was a mistake to give the all clear and to say nothing to see here, essentially?
100%.
Now, I asked the EPA and the plaintiffs' attorneys for comment. They have not responded. I asked.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.